Hi, it's Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. Today I'm sharing with you the Christian fiction books I could find that are releasing in August 2025. So there's quite a few books in there, so I've grouped them into different genres. I'm going to go through, read out the descriptions. I apologise if my voice is croaky at sometimes. I've had a bad cough over the last month and I've been recording in little tiny bits and stitching it together. So we're going to look at the book covers. If you're on YouTube, if you're listening on the podcast, you can see the book covers on the blog post, which will be linked in the description. As always, I haven't read these books, so I can't tell you what the content is like, whether it is appropriate or not, but these are ones that are listed, most of them listed as Christian fiction. There's a few that I know are Christian fiction publishers, but the books are listed as like religious rather than Christian. If you read any of these as advanced copies, let me know what you thought of them in the comments. And also, as we're going through, let me know if any of the books you think will be books that you would like to read in the future. Burning Justice by Lisa Phillips and Susan May Warren releases on the 5th of August and is published by Sunrise Publishing. Rescue, Danger, Devotion. This time their hearts are on the line. She's been searching for her father for 15 years. Maria Sanchez spent her entire career as a CIA operative searching for her father, and she's not going to let some tough, arrogant former soldier turned hotshot stand in her way. His life was upended on a single fateful mission. After being betrayed, branded a traitor and declared dead, Kane Foster has a lot to prove, and he's not going to let his team or his country down. Even if he has to douse the sparks between him and his feisty teammate, because some things are more important than love. Now someone tell that to his heart. As the smoke clears on this pulse-pounding series, buried truths will be uncovered and loyalties tested in this sizzling finale to the Chasing Alaska romantic suspense series. Final Approach by Lynette Eason releases on the 5th of August and is published by Revell. Air Marshal Christine Duncan is not on duty when a hijacker attempts to seize control of the plane she and her friends are on as they head out on a much-needed vacation. Jumping into action and aided by FBI Special Agent Andrew Ross, Christine thwarts the attack and the plane lands safely, but as the investigation into the incident gets underway, Christine and Andrew are confused at every step. Nothing about the investigation goes as it should, and each layer they peel back just reveals another layer of perplexity. As the two work together to navigate a web of deception, blame and personal reckoning, they find there's more to this story than meets the eye, and more to love and admire about each other. They'll have to put their skills to the test and their hearts on the line to unravel the truth and ensure that justice prevails. Secrets Along the Shore by Jamie Jo Wright, Taylor S. Newport, D.L. Wood and Julia Blythe releases on the 15th of August and is published by Two Dogs Publishing. 4 exhilarating summer thrillers of faith, love and excitement. The Ones I Left to Die, Jamie Jo Wright. A decade before, Noah Lorne escaped the sadistic clutches of the Serpent, a serial killer known by the telltale mark he carved into the necks of his victims. She has learned to live being the only known survivor, but her recollection is sketchy and her desire to relive the trauma non-existent. But now a new victim has been discovered, and it seems the Serpent has returned. With a detective from the Cold Case Division desperate to connect the dots, Noah concedes that to find the Serpent she must remember them, the other victims, the ones she'd left behind to die. Survival Mode, Taylor S. Newport. Medically discharged from the Australian SAS, Tyler Reid struggles to adjust to life as a civilian. When an old friend offers him a high-risk mission to rescue a woman and her son from a ruthless crime boss, Tyler can't refuse. The assignment is deadly, the enemy relentless, and Tyler's new teammates are strangers. Can he trust them? As he fights off the enemy, the stakes rise with every move, testing his limits and pushing him to his breaking point. In a world where survival depends on split-second choices, failure is not an option. All That Lies Beneath, D.L. Wood. The case was closed until another body turned up. Private investigator Sophie Walsh thought the nightmare was over when a conviction finally came in the Perfect Princess serial killings. But when another young woman is found murdered with the same chilling signature, the certainty shatters. As whispers of a copycat partner or devastating mistake surface, Sophie races to uncover the truth. Did they convict the right man, or is the real killer still watching and ready to strike again? The girl between us, Julia Blythe. Typically strong friendships never develop between a local and a summer girl, especially a summer girl from the school for the deaf. But that's just what happens when Scarlett McBride is chosen every summer to spend July 4th week at the school headmaster's lake lodge. Surprisingly, the headmaster has left her the lodge in his will. 15 years since her last summer at the lake, Scarlett returns with plans to sell the house, but learns her old summer friend, Becca Bishop, still resides across the water. They had once been inseparable until the night Becca's little sister drowned. That's when all fingers pointed at the outsider as the one to blame, and Scarlett was never chosen again, until now. Detecting Concealed Evidence by Dana Mentink releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. Sniffing out the enemies requires the canine's help. A panicked call sends Detective Chase Wolfe and his search and rescue bloodhound Tank racing right into the path of his neighbour, who's just barely escaped an abduction. But Pilar Alonso has no idea who's after her or why. Now she must rely on Chase to keep her safe, while they work together to track down the unknown assailants targeting her. Only their investigation reveals layers of a much more sinister agenda, and danger is rapidly closing in. Drawn into a web of deceit, can they untangle the mystery before they're permanently silenced? Danger in the Wilderness by Darlene L. Turner releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. A search for a kidnapped camper could cost them their lives. Park warden Decker Hoyt's father-son camping trip turns into a nightmare when a serial killer abducts his father. With just 72 hours to find him, Decker turns to criminal investigative analyst Blair Tremblay to identify the park campfire killer. As they follow his taunting clues and face increasingly violent threats, Decker and Blair know that one wrong step could be fatal. With the ruthless criminal following their every move, can they stop a killer in hiding, waiting to complete his deadly plan? Rocky Mountain Kidnapping by Jane M. Choate releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. Rescuing an innocent life with danger only a step away, Harper Sloan returns to her ranch from a search and rescue mission, only to discover her own son has been kidnapped. Blackmailed by drug runners, she's forced to retrieve a lost narcotics package in exchange for her child, and there's only one man who can help, her ex-security specialist, Luca Brady, who doesn't know he's a father. Together they brave treacherous terrain and a snowstorm to save the boy, but the journey quickly turns into a fight for survival. Can Harper and Luca stay alive long enough to take down the vicious cartel? Threat of Revenge by Jessica R. Patch releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. A vendetta from the past puts a canine team in the crosshairs. Following an anonymous tip about a gun trafficking ring, patrol officer Jenna Morrow arrives in small-town North Dakota and narrowly escapes the bomb that detonates in her car. Rescued by rancher Clay Miller, Jenna and her canine partner Augie take refuge at his remote property to continue her investigation. But even when she's under Clay's protection, an unknown assailant continues to threaten Jenna, making it clear someone wants her dead, and it's personal. As the killer closes in, Jenna and Clay must unmask an attacker who won't stop until the long-awaited revenge is complete. In a Killers Crosshairs by Rhonda Starnes releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. A murderer is on the loose and nowhere is safe. Psychologist Brooklyn Thomas narrowly survives a fire in her home and realizes that the notorious serial killer, the Chastiser, is back. He targeted her 15 years ago and she managed to escape his clutches, and now he wants to exact his deadly revenge. When his attacks become more frequent, former FBI agent Landon Wentworth is the only person Brooklyn trusts to protect her, and their only option is to run. But the clock is ticking in their race to evade the killer's wrath before Brooklyn becomes his final victim. Protecting the Texas Witness by Virginia Vaughan releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. He has a witness to defend and their future hangs in the balance. Deputy Drake Shaw rescues single mom Isabel Morris from an assailant's attack only to be mistaken for her late husband. After exposing the corruption at her healthcare company, Isabel fears danger has followed her and her daughter all the way to their remote cabin. Now Drake must keep them safe long enough for Isabel to testify against her former boss. But when her child is taken, the stakes are raised. Can they survive to unravel the truth about the present and the past? In historical fiction, The Undercover Heiress of Brockton by Kelly J. Goshorn releases on the 1st of August and is published by Barber Fiction. A Socialite in Disguise Seeks Truth and Justice. Henrietta Etta Maxwell is a hard-hitting investigative reporter for the Enterprise Daily. The catch: Etta must pen her columns under the nom de plume Henry Mason, a fact that routinely puts a knot in her knickerbockers. Leo Erickson is a second-generation firefighter with a passion for rendering aid to those in need. When Leo discovers that Henry Mason is really Henrietta Maxwell, the fire department's wealthy benefactress, he agrees to keep her identity secret. After a sudden blast rocks the Grover shoe factory, Leo and Etta team up to determine if the explosion is related to a series of suspicious fires in the area. When an unnamed source reveals Etta's secret identity to a rival reporter, she falsely accuses Leo of being the informant. As the truth comes to light, Etta must persuade Leo to give her a second chance or lose the only man she's ever loved. The French Kitchen by Kristy Cambron releases on the 5th of August and is published by Thomas Nelson. As Paris rebuilds in the aftermath of World War II, one expat uses the skills she learned in French kitchens during the war to bring long-held secrets to light. Paris 1952. An expat wife living in Paris signs up for a cookery class taught by an American chef with an indomitable wit and decidedly French airs, an instructor by name of Julia Child. Amongst classes of the L'École des Trois Gourmands, with pots and pans and prim Paris wives learning to sauté in the French way, Kat Fontaine learns much more than she bargained for. Still haunted by the years she spent serving in the American Office of Strategic Services, OSS, during World War II, Kat soon finds a simple cookery class unearths a tangle of gut-wrenching memories of war and questions about the high-ranking society husband whose past is as murky as her own. But when the puzzle pieces start to come together and her carefully crafted Paris world begins to fall apart, Kat must confront her own secrets against the mounting suspicions of the husband she thought she knew. Rue, 1943. Deep in the heart of Nazi-controlled northern France, Manon Altier shifts between working for the enemy by day as a French chef at the famous Chateau de Brutel, where names like Himmler, Rommel and Goebbels frequent the guest list, and running with underground networks against the Vichy regime at night, working undercover to filter information to agents within the burgeoning OSS. Manon digs deep into the glitz and glamour of a Nazi stronghold that has her teetering on the edge of being discovered at any turn. But when an intriguing stranger appears at the chateau claiming to work with the French resistance, Manon must lean on her instincts to judge whether to run and hide or stand firm, even as a terrifying discovery tests her resolve to continue the fight. Last Light Over Galveston by Jennifer L. Wright releases on the 12th of August and is published by Tyndale Fiction. Galveston, Texas, September 1900. Only months ago, Kathleen McDaniel returned from finishing school in Switzerland to her family home in New York's Hudson Valley, with a future of promise and privilege set before her. But one horrific event shattered her picturesque life. Now she has fled as far as the train line, and a pocketful of money would take her, finding refuge at the St. Mary's Orphan Asylum on Galveston Island, where she helps the nuns care for their young charges and prays her past will not find her. Despite her tenuous standing at the orphanage and the grief and betrayal that drove her from home, Kathleen slowly begins to make friends. There is Emily, the novice nun she rooms with, Maggie, the tempestuous young girl who only bonds with Kathleen, and Matthew, a kind, handsome man recently employed by Isaac Klein at Galveston's office of the U.S. Weather Bureau. Then, in one fateful day, Kathleen's fragile new life begins to crack as it becomes clear that she can't run far enough to escape the reach of her former life. Meanwhile, as troubling news about a storm crossing the Gulf from Cuba swirls in the Weather Bureau offices, Matthew holds fast to Klein's belief that no hurricane can touch Galveston. But as darkness falls on the island, Kathleen must gather her courage and reach for a strength beyond her own if she and those she loves are to survive. A Scheming in Parliament by Erica Vetsch releases on the 26th of August and is published by Craigle Publications. Evil is masquerading in the halls of Parliament, and Sir Bertrand Thorndyke is tasked with investigating from the inside. With his new position as a member of the House of Commons, he has access to the power brokers of English government. His tactic is to listen and learn, careful not to reveal his true motives, and is quickly inducted into the mysterious Theban Club. Miss Philippa Cashell's mission, the Princess Charlotte Elios School for Women in Need, is thriving with donations, and the students are learning skills to help them earn their livings in honourable ways. But when a dear friend's past is revealed by blackmail, Philippa must wrestle with the question, is it ever right to do the wrong thing? Bertie's and Philippa's missions collide when Bertie uncovers a dangerous plot involving vulnerable women. He and Philippa join forces against the corruption threatening to topple England's government, all while navigating their outward reputations and inward feelings for each other. A Forgotten Heart by Traci Summeril and Lacy Williams releases on the 26th of August and is published by Sunrise Publishing. Rancher Nick McGraw had his dreams of teaching shattered and lost his chance for true love in one fell swoop. Years later, he's finally moved on. The best Christmas gift he can give himself is a chance for a new start with a mail-order bride of his own choosing. After he broke her heart, schoolmarm Elsie Atkinson hoped she would never see Nick again, but moments after they come face to face, Nick is attacked and left for dead in the midst of a wiped-out blizzard. Elsie can't abandon him in his time of need. There's just one problem. The Nick who wakes up with his head wrapped in bandages doesn't remember leaving Elsie. This Nick only remembers falling in love with her, but Elsie knows that once Nick regains his memory, their fragile reunion will be shattered, leaving her heart broken once more. And when Nick's attackers threaten the family ranch, things only get more complicated between them. It may just take a Christmas miracle for them to find their way back to the love they once shared and work together to save everything they hold dear. In biblical fiction, Splendor of the Land by Connilyn Cossette releases on the 5th of August and is published by Bethany House. Gavriel, a soldier in the elite company of Jonathan, son of King Saul, dreams of forging his destiny through crafting weapons with his own hands. Despite earning his place among Israel's finest, he is haunted by a dark past that no distraction can dispel. When his reckless behaviour forces Jonathan to present him with an ultimatum, Gavriel is sent on a mission to persuade a distant tribe to sever their ties with the Amalekites. Zahava, a gifted goldsmith hidden behind her father's legacy, lives in the shadows due to her physical affliction. Her talent, unmatched and unrecognized, is a closely guarded secret within her family. Disheartened by a love that seems unattainable, she resigns herself to a life of obscurity. However, when Gavriel arrives in her village, they are tangled together in a way no one could have imagined. As they navigate through unforeseen dangers and enemy threats, Gavriel must confront his past and either bend his knee to the one true king or lose his love forever. Noble by Mesu Andrews releases on the 19th of August and is published by Bethany House. Princess Maaka of Geshur is duty-bound to create a political alliance for her father through marriage. The cancellation by King Saul of her betrothal to his fourth-born son compels Maaka's father to arrange an unexpected marriage to the rebel David ben Jesse, a shepherd warrior anointed years earlier as Israel's future king. Taken aback by stories of David's fierceness and lowly birth, Maaka considers the match a degrading fate but obeys her father's wishes out of duty as her nation's only heir. While alliances shift and enemies loom, Ma'aka navigates the delicate balance between her noble heritage and her growing respect for David's faith and leadership. When David and his army move to Hebron, he becomes king over Judah. Ma'aka faces prejudice and suspicion from David's home tribe. In a land torn by war and divided loyalties, she must choose where her alliance lies, with her people and heritage, or with an extraordinary destiny alongside David that beckons her from within. In contemporary romance, Meet Me at Sunset Cove by Sarah May Warren is listed as inspirational religious fiction, and it releases on the 5th of August and published by Sunrise Publishing. She needs a stunning comeback, not a reunion with the man got away. Daisy Decker didn't plan to lose her hit home renovation show to her conniving co-host, but never mind, she has a plan to reboot her career. Step 1. Find herself a cute little house on the world's most adorable island. Step 2. Film herself giving the house a total Decker remodel and use it to restart her YouTube channel. What she never factored in: that Hunter Barrett, the man who stole her heart and then ghosted her, will be standing between her and her dream project. But it seems Hunter may be desperate to keep his treasured family home off the market, and Daisy's willing to make a deal. Hunter won't sacrifice his heart for a house, or will he? Local contractor Hunter Barrett is not letting his family's home on Sunset Cove go without a fight, and he's especially not going to sell it to Daisy Decker, the woman who broke his heart years ago. But the family trust states that the house will hit the market the moment he turns 31, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. He's out of options and out of time when Daisy approaches him with a wild proposal, a fake engagement that could solve both their problems. It's the last thing he wants, but with his family legacy on the line, can he really afford to say no? But falling back in love is definitely not part of the plan. Meant for Me by Betsy St. Amant is listed as religious romance and releases on the 12th of August and is published by Sunrise Publishing. He was her best friend, still is, but when her beloved beignets shop burns down, he'll have to be more if she hopes to start over. But will friendship survive the dangers of a marriage of convenience? Lincoln Link Fontenot enjoys working out, running his crawfish business and the company of approximately 3 people. Zoe Lakewood has been at the top of that shortlist for years, the only bit of sunshine he ever allows to part his comfortably cloudy sky. But when Link's steady, quiet world is rocked by the unexpected guardianship of a teen girl, his friendship with Zoe becomes even more crucial. He needs help bad, but maybe not as bad as Zoe. Zoe's never had a problem manifesting joy, but having just lost her home and her beignet business to an uninsured fire, for once she struggles to find the silver lining. She and Link arrange to help each other out, as just friends, of course. She'll provide teen parenting assistance while he provides a place for her to get back on her feet. But one thing her friendship with Link has never had to navigate is close proximity. Tension and chemistry mount as they attempt to manage this sudden insta-family. But Zoe just lost everything, and she can't risk losing her best friend too. Will her friendship with Link go up in flames like her beignet shop, or will Link and Zoe finally realise they were meant for each other? Riley and Sam by Ashley Schaller releases on the 12th of August and is published by Quill and Flame Publishing. Riley Anderson swears she will never fall in love with Sammy Hong. After all, every girl on earth already has. But when Sam shows up next door with a scandal on his heels, their childhood friendship is rekindled, and Riley feels the pull towards something more. But Sam is only here until the end of the summer, and then he's leaving to face the consequences of his actions and return to the world of pop stardom. The pair, accompanied with Riley's rambunctious younger cousin, make a list of all the things they want to do while Sam's in town, but as they work through the activities and dodge rapid fangirls, letting Sam go may be harder than Riley ever imagined. Her Surprised Neighbour by Lee Tobin McLean releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired. Some bonds can never be broken. Though teacher Gabby Dunn loves nothing more than helping her students to read with the support of her trusty therapy dog Caramel, her newest student, Sloane, is her trickiest by far. Not only are she and her father, author Noah Barnes, Gabby's new neighbours, but Sloane is also the daughter Gabby placed for adoption 7 years ago. Desperate to help his troubled child, Noah hopes reconnecting her with her biological mother could be the solution Sloane needs, but when the past threatens their newly formed family, Noah and Gabby must decide if this is a love worth fighting for. Her Christmas Homecoming by Lindsay Harrell releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired. Will a reunion between them be the gift they need this holiday? Planning a small-town Christmas festival with her ex-boyfriend is not what corporate executive Georgia Carrington expects when she returns home to care for her grandmother. After all, there's a promotion waiting in New York City, and Mayor Nate Griggs only reminds her of her broken heart. Now a widowed father, Nate is hesitant to depend on the woman who left him behind 13 years ago, but he needs her help to secure the future of the town's youth centre. Soon they're bringing joy to the community and to each other, but as the holiday deadline grows closer, will they choose a future together? Reunion at Sunflower Farms by Stacey Strong releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired. Can rekindled love withstand secrets from the past? After losing everything in a devastating fire, single mum Ashley Singletary and her young daughter move in with her best friend at Sunflower Farms to start over. But just when things can't get any worse, she runs into her former college boyfriend, Connor Williams, who doesn't know that he's the father of her child. Recently divorced, Connor isn't looking for love, but seeing Ashley with little Layla reawakens past feelings. When the truth is unexpectedly revealed, could they still have a chance at happily ever after? The Ranchous Prayer by Donna Gartshaw is listed as religious romance and releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired. To earn the love he's always wanted, he must let go of his past. Luke Duffy is desperate to save his family's ranch, especially after decisions made by his late father land their horse therapy business in trouble. But help comes in the unlikely form of guest Arabella Locke. As a PR expert, Bella has plans that could make the ranch thrive, but Luke's rocky past makes him hesitant to rely on her. The single mum also has a lot on her mind. Her job is on the line, and her daughter struggles with anxiety. Will they find the strength to face their challenges and create a new beginning together? In contemporary fiction, When the Road Comes Around by Katie Palmer releases on the 5th of August and is published by Bethany House. In the small town of Grady, Montana, 24-year-old Tad Bungley has reputation for trouble. When he lands a job at Come Around Ranch, however, his life seems to take a positive turn. As he develops a soft spot for Sam, the ranch owner's disabled son, and a special bond with TJ, a rescue horse with a poor reputation of his own, Tad becomes determined not to mess up this time. 48-year-old Anita Wilson is too young to feel so old, but rheumatoid arthritis limits her ability to work on the guest ranch she owns with her husband. It was a risk to hire Tad for the summer, but Anita is convinced he just needs a bit of grace and encouragement to find his footing. What she doesn't anticipate is that Tad's presence at the ranch will change everything, including her relationship with her son, and when Tad finds himself in more trouble than ever, he and Anita must learn when to hold on, when to let go, and how to embrace grace. What the River Keeps by Cheryl Gray Bostrom releases on the 12th of August and is published by Tyndale Fiction. Hildy Nybo is a successful biologist. Her study of the Pacific Northwest's wild fish, both a passion and a career, but behind her professional brilliance, Hildy's reclusive private life reflects a childhood fraught with uncertainty. Despite her father's love and her mother's sympathy, she grew up constantly losing even her most cherished belongings, unable to recall where she misplaced them. Haunted by the confusion of those early years, she now records her life in detailed diaries and clings tightly to memory-prompting keepsakes. Then her mother's health fails, and Hildy accepts a job near her childhood home, joining a team of scientists who will help restore her beloved Elwha River after the demolition of 2 century-old dams. There Hildy settles into one of the cabins on her family's rustic resort, a place she both loves and dreads, for reasons she can't fully explain. When local artist Miranda Rimmer rents an adjacent cabin for her pottery studio, Hildy shrinks from such a close neighbour, but then Miranda's carpenter brother Luke shows up to help with construction and captures Hildy's attention. Now a few years beyond a tragedy that brought him to his knees, Luke recognizes a kindred soul in Hildy, and they build a relationship that dismantles the walls Hildy's built to keep people out. As troubling pieces of the past surface, Hildy dares to wonder if she can banish the shadows that have burdened her and follow her river's course to freedom. The Bitter End Birding Society by Amanda Cox releases on the 19th of August and is published by Revell. Hometown hero Anna Lee Watkins ventures to Bitter End, Tennessee to help her great-aunt get her house ready to sell. Bitter End seems an ironic place for Anna to refresh her weary spirit, but she's desperate for respite from her community's attention and unwarranted admiration. While on a hike in Rowan Mountain, a ragtag group of amateur bird watchers take her under their wing, a little against her will. However, she quickly warms to these genuine souls seeking solace in the great outdoors. But when Anna's adventures in Bitter End lead her to a severed branch of her family tree, one that involves the forbidden love between a moonshiner's daughter and a preacher's son, what began as a quest to study Appalachian birds becomes a transformative journey that binds together two women who, though they live on the same street, have been estranged for 60 years. Gelato at the Villa by Robin Jones-Gunn releases on the 19th of August and is published by Revell. Chi trova un amico trova un tesoro, whoever finds a friend finds a treasure, Italian saying. Grace and Claire have formed a close friendship over their love of reading. After many years and many books that provided armchair adventures, the time has come for them to go somewhere instead of only dreaming of some day. Travelling to Venice, Florence and Bellagio, the Suitcase Sisters find themselves immersed in the magnificent works of art, scrumptious gelato flavours, and endless pasta variations of Italy. They discover a vulnerability to disclose their struggles in ways they never did at home. As Grace experiences a newfound freedom and confidence in who she is, Claire wrestles with painful memories of her teen years. A special dinner party brings unexpected revelations about faith and God's nearness. Then a life-changing moment on the shores of Lake Lugano causes Grace and Claire to discover they are not just tourists, but pilgrims on a path to becoming all God created them to be. Things We Keep Hidden by Jill Lynn releases on the 26th of August and is published by Love Inspired Trade. A threatening note, long-buried secrets, their friendship tested. The last time lifelong friends Peyton, Ivy and Clara were together, Clara broke their unwritten rule and brought up the one thing they never talk about, and now more than 20 years after their friend Cece took her life, they must confront that night as the three women and their husbands, plus one unexpected guest, gather at Eileen's Breckenridge vacation home. With tension already simmering just below the surface of their relationship, they are each left shaken when a cryptic note, "Tell the truth or I will." Who is the message for and what does it refer to? The women fear it could be linked to the truth they've kept hidden since the night Cece died, or maybe it has something to do with one of the problems they've each brought with them. Eileen's son is in rehab after narrowly avoiding jail time, spurring her to a reckless act of her own. Clara, usually so careful to follow rules, is haunted by the one night that she didn't, and Peyton has been in denial regarding her husband's so-called plan for their marriage. As the weekend unfolds, all three will revisit the bonds they share and the challenges that have shaped their lives, and by the trip's end, a truth that shocks them all will be revealed. In fantasy and sci-fi, Winter's Chill by Morgan L. Bussey releases on the 5th of August and is published by Enclave Publishing. This is book 2 in that series, so here is the description for book 1, Winter's Maiden. Warrior, survivor, daughter of the North. From the moment she is born, Brigid fights to survive in the wastelands of Nordica as a clanless one, but when a new power arrives offering a trial to join the Nordic warriors, Brigid enters hoping to rise above her station. Soon she becomes one of their fiercest fighters and joins the war against the South. Caden carries the blood of the ancient Eldaran race in his veins, but turns away from his heritage after the death of his parents. Years later, he is called back to his homeland and invited to be a healer for the Southern forces. With the help of an old mentor, the power inside of him starts to awaken. However, his life is turned upside down when a mighty warrior of the Nordic forces is captured. As Caden interacts with the enemy, he discovers there is a darkness behind the Nordic wars, one that is manipulating the people of the North. But who will believe him? Is there a power strong enough to break the hold of this hidden adversary, or will the world burn in flames of war? The Heart of the King by J.J. Fisher, listed as religious science fiction and fantasy, releases on the 15th of August and is published by White Crown Publishing. This is Painted Wind Book 1. The worst monsters live within us. The warring island kingdoms of Calidor and Jardia are thrown into chaos when Calidor's once prized but now quite possibly half-mad seer announces that young grave digger Regan North will one day capture the heart of the Crown Prince of Jardia and lead Jardia to victory against Calidor. Together Regan and the Prince will rid the twin kingdoms of the Shro Khan, deadly mind-controlling monsters that terrorize the people on sand and at sea. Desperate to maintain his stranglehold on power and prevent the prophecy from being fulfilled, the King of Calidor sends a troop of soldiers, led by the legendary Aureus Corcoran, to capture Regan. Corcoran, who is rumoured to be able to communicate with the Khan, wonders how this unremarkable, frustrating girl could ever ensnare the attentions of a would-be king, even as he admires her clever attempts to escape him. But when her fiery ways and unexpected kindnesses begin to claim Corcoran's heart, prompting him to second-guess his orders, he wonders how the prophecy could ever come true, until he learns that not only is he far more than he believed himself to be, but she may be too. So as you can see, August is a great month if you like contemporary books that are not necessarily heavy on the romance. This must be the 1 month when there's a whole load of those books coming out at once. Usually, quite often, there's none of them at all. As I said at the beginning, let me know in the comments which books you are most likely to read. I will try and put that in the comments as well, which ones I hope to read at some point in the future. If you would like to see any more videos on Christian fiction, you can watch these videos over here. I pray that you're having a great summer, if it's summer for you, or winter if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, and I hope that you're having a great reading week. And until next time, I pray God bless you and your families. Bye!